Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you've never seen me before, my name is Gareth Oliver, and yes, my hair is real. The reason I'm here, and I guess the reason you're here right now, is because maybe the universe wants me to share my message and for you to hear it. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and that everyone is put before us for a reason. And we don't necessarily know what that reason is until we engage with that person, until we interact with them. And it's not always that they're put there to help us. Sometimes we are put before them to answer their prayers, and we will never know until we show an interest. When I was a kid, believe it or not, I was socially awkward, and now I am awkwardly social. All I ask is that you please just give me a few minutes of your time, because what I want to talk about is very, very important. So if you actively follow me, you'll probably be aware that last night I went on stage on a cruise ship and performed for over 1,000 people over 2 shows. It was 2 packed shows, and I got 2 full standing ovations. I'm not here to brag. I'm just setting the scene for you. I'm very good at my job. I've done it all my life, 26 years professional now, doing comedy and ventriloquism. But it's not just about being a comic or being a ventriloquist. It's not about being technically good. The reason that I'm good at what I do is because of my intention. It's because of why I do it. It's not because of how I do it. It's because of why. I do what I do because I want to make people feel good. I realized at a very early age that performing comedy, making people laugh, it helped me to stop getting bullied, and it helped me to escape from my reality, which I needed to. So I've always been on a mission to make people feel good through laughter. Laughter therapy is a real thing, really exists, right? However, during the pandemic, all of my work was cancelled. I found myself at home entering a downward spiral into terrible depression and anxiety and panic attacks. I fell into gambling addiction. It was the worst time of my life. I lost pretty much all of my life savings. My wife stood beside me the whole time, and I could not be any more grateful for that woman and for my children. When I managed to crawl out of that dark hole, I didn't just re-emerge. I transformed. I don't know what was at the bottom of that dark hole that I spent so long in, that I tried to claw my way out of, but I'm guessing it was compassion and empathy and understanding. And I just had this overwhelming compulsion to help other people who I knew and know today are suffering with mental health problems in the same way that I suffered for over 2 years, and no one knew. Only a handful of people that were close to me knew. But social media, hundreds of thousands of people on social media, did not have a clue. And no one asked. And there's every chance the reason that they didn't ask about me is because they're too busy suffering in silence themselves. And I know this. And if you don't believe me, just look at all of the trolling online. People saying the most hurtful, awful, disgusting things to complete strangers. That has no reflection at all on the person's post, who these trolls are commenting on. It has nothing to do with those people. It has everything to do with the perpetrator of the trolling. It is a sign that they are suffering. They have mental health problems, and they don't realize this is part of the problem, right? They don't realize that the problem, it's all in them. They're being triggered. Every post they look at, they're being triggered. Why else would you write such hurtful things on a stranger's post? Why else would you gate crash someone else's conversation, someone's party, just to be abusive? It's a sign that you are hurting. And there's an old saying that hurt people hurt people. So my mission, which comes with a lifetime of experience, is to help other people to feel better, to reduce their stress, their anxiety, to sleep better. And my thinking is that if I help someone, that person will help somebody else. They will pass it on. It'll have the ripple effect. So when I've done my show last night, I always end with an inspirational speech. And I encourage people to look around. Look around the room. A cruise ship is a massive melting pot of different people from different walks of life, with different beliefs, different jobs, different families, different worries, different expectations, different dreams. And yet it works. Everyone gets on. Everyone gets on. Thousands of people on this ship. Everyone's different, and they all get along fine. There is no division. You know why? No politics. There is no politics. There's no talking about politics. We're not watching the TV. We're here to have a good time. Everyone is literally in the same boat. And I always feel the need when I have an amazing show like I did last night, 2 amazing shows, and people are unified. There is a conscious collective energy and the atmosphere is electric and we all feel it. And in that moment, that is the perfect moment to strike, because it would be reckless or certainly irresponsible of me just to take that applause and that adulation and just leave the stage thinking, aren't I great? No, I think in that moment, when I've built people up so they are operating at their optimum state of consciousness and they are feeling moved and emotionally charged, that is the perfect moment, striking while the iron's hot, right? The perfect moment for me then to strike with my message that life is better when we work together. You look at all the scaremongering in the world now. The world is a very negative place right now, a very negative energy. And a lot of that comes from the news, from the government. It's all being driven by the media. If you switch off the news, life would be okay. But we allow ourselves to get drawn into it. It's so easy. But believe me, that's not real life. I know it's really happening. These things are really happening, but they're not happening to you. They're not happening to you. Bad things happen to people all day, every day. So do good things. What do you want to look for? My wife always said this to me when I was having a bad time in the pandemic. She said, Gareth, you can choose how you want to be. You can choose what you want to find. If you look for the bad, you will find the bad in everyone and everything. If you look for the good, you will find the good in everyone and everything. You really will. It all comes down to your mindset, your attitude. What do you want? Do you want an excuse to feel crap, to feel depressed? Because you'll find it. Or do you want a reason to feel good, to feel grateful? And if you want that, you will find it. And she was right. Because once I flipped my mindset and I changed focus, rather than focusing on what I wanted to leave behind, what I felt I couldn't get away from, like me saying now to you, you need to get away from those pink elephants. You need to get away from those pink elephants. You're just seeing pink elephants. Whereas if I chose a different approach and said, you need to go towards the yellow snake. I mean, not that I would encourage that, but you know what I'm saying. I've not written this out. I'm not AI. But if I said to you, you need to walk towards the yellow monkey, you would see the yellow monkey. The fact is, I'm getting you to walk away from the pink elephants. Now you're seeing the pink elephants. We stop talking about them. We stop focusing on that. We change our focus. We look towards the goal and then we keep walking forwards, working towards the goal. And that is what I learned. It was a steep, expensive learning curve, but it's been and it continues to be an amazing journey. Now, I want to tell you what I did last night. When I share my message with people at the end of the show last night, when they are super receptive, emotionally charged, and ready to absorb my message, and they did because they told me about it afterwards, I then tell people, look, and this is true, the most important gift you could ever give anyone is not money. It's not a car. It's not a house. It's not a diamond ring. The most important gift you could ever give anyone is your time, because you don't know how much you have left. None of us know. It is the most precious commodity, and yet often the most overlooked, underrated. Every breath we take is a miracle. It's a blessing. We should be grateful for every breath. So I am very clear when I tell people the greatest gift I could give to you is my time. And I really thank you for being here and giving me your time this evening. So if anyone wants to come and chat to me, I'll be down at the front of the stage after the show and I will have pictures with you. I will talk with you for as long as you want to until the last person is done, because that's my gift to you, for being such a wonderful, receptive audience, for making me feel so good, for helping me. I want to give back. And that's what I did. So last night after the first show was 8 o'clock. It finished about 8:50. I stood for about 40 minutes until 9:30, chatting with people, having pictures taken. And it was lovely. And guess what? Something incredible happened. A woman came over and presented her young son to me. His name's Bobby. Now, before I tell you this story, I want you to know that I have got permission to share these pictures and this story. So Bobby has autism. He has autism, ADHD, global delay, and absent seizures. I've met quite a lot of people who have autism over the past few years who have really connected with me. I really think the puppets have some kind of special ability to bridge the gap. So wonderful. I think you may be right about that. He was totally engrossed, and it takes a lot for him to be engrossed, more than 15 minutes that time. He has not stopped talking about it. Thank you again for bringing out the puppet. Now, to be clear, I don't stand at the front of the stage holding a puppet for pictures, because once the show is over, the puppet's going in the suitcase and that's it. However, when this lady came over and asked if her young son, Bobby, could have a picture with a puppet, there is no way on this earth that I could or would ever dream of refusing a young child that opportunity. To be clear, Bobby didn't actually speak to me. I put my hand on his shoulder to try to reassure him through non-verbal language that he was in a safe space. And I asked which puppet he would like to have a picture with. And his mum said he'd like to have a picture with your Caribbean puppet. So I went and got him out. And as you can see from the picture, it's wonderful. And the reason that I did this, and the reason I'm talking about this, is because it is so important. No matter where they come from or what needs they have that may be different from your own or from your own children's needs, we need to support children, because children become adults, and adults that were not supported as children really struggle. And a lot of them end up trolling people on social media. So the intervention needs to start from a very young age. The first 7 years of someone's life are so important, because when you are born up to being 7, you are like a sponge. I think to myself, how would I want someone to treat my child in that situation? I would want my child to feel comfortable, to feel confident, asking if they can have a picture with someone and meet the puppet. I'd want that performer to be grateful for the opportunity to have this potentially lifelong positive impact on this young human being, who could then go on to tell the story when he's older, and maybe do the same thing for young people who approached him with the same request in the future. Let me tell you a very quick story. You may have heard of a massive social media star. He's got millions of followers on TikTok. I think he's got nearly 30 million subscribers on YouTube. His name is Dan Rhodes. He's a magician. He's one of the most successful British social media stars, certainly on YouTube, of our generation, obviously, because we didn't have social media before my generation. The point is, Dan was 6 years old when he saw me performing in 2009 in a holiday resort in Egypt. And I used to do a bit of magic as well as ventriloquism and impressions. And after the show, I was in the bar, and his mum came over with him and his slightly older brother, Harrison. And she introduced her sons, and she said about how much they loved the show. And they were really happy, enthusiastic, you know. And I said, look, do you want to see a trick up close? And I did a magic trick for Dan, in which I appeared to make this coin go through a glass that was sitting on a coaster. And I did not know in that moment that that would have such a huge impact on that boy's life. He refers to himself as just a kid in a dream. And in the book that he's released, which is called The Magic, he cites two people as being his influence: Dynamo and Gareth Oliver. I mean, for me, that feels like such a massive achievement, such a proud accolade to have been just mentioned, but he's written about me in his book on 3 separate occasions over 3 different pages about how he met me when he was in Egypt on holiday. Then his mum took him on a cruise to see me, and then they saw me in pantomime, and then he showed me a magic trick in the pantomime in 2011. And I was like, wow, Dan, that's better than I can do now. And he was like, yes, the student has surpassed the master. He wrote that in his book. I'm not making this up. So seriously, never underestimate your ability to make a difference in this world. We can all make a difference, whether it be negative or positive. We have the potential to make a huge impact in this world with every breath we take. So make every breath count. Make every interaction count. Be the best that you can be. Don't compare yourself to others, because more often than not, people are not who they claim to be on social media, and their lives are certainly not as glamorous, fulfilling, rewarding, as happy as they may appear to be. And you can never be them. It's great to have goals and to have role models, but the most important person to aspire to be is the best version of yourself, unapologetically, authentically you. And with that comes a magical gravitational pull that will bring miracles and opportunities and wonderful people into your life. You mark my words. Start every day with a smile and say to yourself, you know what? Today is going to be a good day. I am going to have a good day today. I'm going to look for the good in everything and everyone. And when you do that, you will see the good in everyone and everything. And you will inspire people. You will move people. You will impact people's lives. And then those people will go on to impact other people's lives. It all comes down to you and your decision in this moment and every other moment going forward that you are blessed to have on this earth. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Have an amazing day.